A lot of people would have always said to me, oh, you need to pick that kind of music, or you need to pick rock music, or you need to pick country. I just like to just try and open my mind and just say, right, give me a song, and if I can't sing it, well, that's fine. Yeah. But I'd like to give it a shot, you know what I mean?
This week's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Defy Sports. You can check them out at defysports.ie. Defy Sports are a sports apparel company based in County Louth. They have a couple of stores in Dundalk, County Louth, and they supply a multitude of sports apparel. This includes half-zips, t-shirts, training tops, retro GAA jerseys, retro rugby jerseys. They even supply school uniforms and a lot of other things too. You can check them out at defysports.ie, or you can contact them by email if you have a query about ordering something, orders@defy.ie. Big thanks to Defy for sponsoring this week's episode. Welcome to this week's episode of That Sound podcast. On this week's episode, we have singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, Nigel Connell.
Yeah, Nigel is a gifted man.
A very, very talented man.
Yeah, he's very busy. He's living in Germany now, and he's a couple of bands on the go. He has obviously his original stuff.
His original stuff, most importantly.
Yeah.
He has a new single out with Irish country artist Johnny Brady.
Yeah, and
give that a check.
His new album too, all on Spotify. He actually told us that is there a new single coming out?
He did say there is something new coming out. He said that he is shaping up to release some faster music, which he's enjoying.
Then he also has the Light Years with the Pearl Jam tribute, and he has Take It to the Limit, the Eagles tribute, and he's also with our previous guests, Ribsy and Chris, with the Beyond the Music, who are covering the Joshua Tree, who have toured France, Germany, Holland, a lot.
He fills us in on some really, really interesting stories, some tales from the road, how he got his start as a drummer.
As a young drummer.
When he was 15 years of age, which is unbelievable in itself.
Played with some very interesting guests, artists.
Played with some renowned country artists, played on the same bill, shared the same stages with some absolutely astonishing country artists.
You're going to enjoy this one.
You'll really enjoy this one. Strap yourselves in. Nigel, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much,
An
Luke.
absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful rendition of Black.
I enjoyed that.
That was great crack.
Very unexpected.
That is the start of the That Sound sessions.
I was actually the very start of Mark Catt's Ivory sessions. I was the very first one he ever had.
Yeah, I actually watched that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was like during COVID. It was crazy. Everybody was recording everything on their phones, and until interfaces then started selling like nobody's business out of Toma.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I was recording stuff on vocals and just sending it to Mark, and then Mark would be able to. It was crazy.
Mad.
Yeah.
So, for maybe the few that doesn't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. What was life like growing up in Atboy?
Atboy was a great town back in. Well, it is a great town even now, but like all towns, Atboy was full of musicians at that time in the 80s. We even had a music shop. There used to be a music shop in Navan called Sheeran's, and believe it or not, Ollie Sheeran was from the Atboy area, and that's where he had a music shop first. So on the street going into the town from my house was a music shop in this very small town, where you'd have, an SG guitar, and I've seen an SG bass, like my father had it even out the house, which is something that you don't really see. And there was drums. Growing up, in a really small town, and then my mother and father had a band. So, it was a lovely town to grow up in. And then, like when I got a little bit older and I started, working with guys from RD had that same thing at the time, some unbelievable guitar players coming through the ranks, but it doesn't just happen anymore. It's not. It seems to be just kind of gone. Like Atboy was like a mini Nashville when I was growing up. I really mean that.
Yeah.
We had one of the best fiddle players in Ireland, Charlie Arkins, living in the town, who was with the Cottonmill Boys, and he gave me my first ever start at 15 years of age, drumming professionally, like in England, for 3 weeks. You know,
Jesus.
like I remember playing.
Thrown in at the deep end for sure.
Oh, like I remember him collecting me. He had a proper band van with you know, beds and everything in the back, and no mobile phones back then, no emails, and I remember him picking me up, and my mother saying goodbye to me at the door, thinking,
heading for England.
Like, it wouldn't happen now.
No,
like,
no,
you know,
no.
Like, I have a 5-year-old boy, and I tell you, if he was leaving at 15 with a 58-year-old man and whatever,
yeah.
3 other musicians, you'd be thinking,
yeah,
how do I get, you know?
Yeah.
But that's how much Mam respected me and seen the future that I had in drumming, and I'll never forget, our first gig was in, well, first of all, we had to play on the boat, which was a B&I boat. You're too young to remember B&I ferries, and they had a deal with B&I that when you travel over, we had to play on the boat, and it was free travel.
No way.
So that was my first gig, and I was using, this is no joke, I was using my brother's drum kit, which was Maxwin by Pearl. They were really cheap.
Yeah,
I had no drum kit.
Right.
Well, I had my own drum kit, but it was that bad. It was basically screwed to the floor of my mother and father's garage. And Bobby said to me, she can take my drums. And so I had to bring that kit onto the boat. I try and drum, plus try not to get sick.
Yeah, riding the waves.
Riding the waves. And then our first gig was in a place called, I'll never forget it, because it was in Wording Pavilion. And I'll never forget, Bucks Fizz were on the night after us.
Bucks Fizz.
And I was, you know, at that stage I was like, just thinking, wow, I've made it here. But there wasn't even drum mics on the drums and nothing. Yeah. You know?
But
it was good old times, and they were innocent times. And you know, growing up in that boy, and then, you know, coming back home then, and people would think you're, oh sure, he's doing horror well, he's in England. Like, I probably would have had a car at 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
It mightn't have been a big car, but it was a car. It was a car, you know. But I was very lucky. I had great parents and great family, and Mum and Dad had the band, and I would play with them, and I learned me trade there as such.
You got to cut your teeth.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had some really good guidance as well along the way.
Yeah, I had some, you know, they put you in your place. You
Constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism, and then, you know, playing with some good people from the town as well, like Matt Levy and people like that.
Yeah.
And, you're not only learning your trade as a musician, but you're learning your trade how to deal with people on a professional basis and living with them, and like, because touring is not just about being a good musician. If you don't want to be touring with 4 people or 5 people that you can't, you know, share a room with, or you can't share a van with, or whatever, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And like, in all the bands I've played with, and I played in a lot of bands, I've managed to never fall out with anybody. I've always left on good terms, and I've could always call them people again for favour. But I know musicians who unfortunately didn't have that, you know, professionalism, and maybe always broke ties in a bad way.
Yes.
But I'm glad to say I've always kept the feet on the ground and keep, you know, I think it's very important.
Stay grounded.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
But like, from that young age, Nigel, at 15 to, like, I'm sure you had the guidance growing up. Your family was obviously musicians, and there was no way around it. You were born into it. Yeah,
it was kind of. But like, I have 2 elder brothers, like, and Bobby was the drummer, and my brother Finton was getting guitar lessons. But when it came to me, it was like I wanted to play drums, and Dad was like, no, we already have a drummer in the band. We don't need another drummer. And there was no, you know, so I had to buy my own, you know, drums, and kind of, but eventually I got the kind of support. But, you know, it was different back then. Mum and Dad would have been rehearsing in the kitchen, and when you come down, it was like, get out, come on, get out, don't be touching that, you know what I mean? Or now you're like, come on, come in, pick up the guitar. Yeah. You're like forcing the child, and you're getting the phone out, and then they're like, no, don't record me. But yeah, I suppose it's just different times, and we, like, you know, we learned in a different way too. Now you have so much options to be an amazing musician as well. You know, there's so much out there on YouTube. Like I remember growing up as a young lad, there used to be a thing on every week called The Tube, and I remember, like, you know, waiting just to see, you know, you could record a concert if, say, Queen from 1986 was on from Wembley, and you could record that, and that's where I would have learned drum rolls. You know, you'd be rewinding, pausing, but, like, you know, you're looking at Roger Taylor going, oh, that's how he does that, and that's how he... But, like, now you can just Google anything and it's just there for you. But, you know, whether you soak it in or not, it's up to you. I don't know.
It's definitely different. Like, Luke, that's kind of your field.
Yeah,
now.
we've spoke about that before, myself and yourself, and even with some of the guests. But this might even be a slight on myself. But I feel there has never been an easier age to be really, really good.
Yeah, I totally agree
because
with you.
I find when I'm learning stuff, I had a great conversation with a teacher I took a few lessons with, Dave Ellich is his name, and he's based out of LA, and he had been asked a couple of times, and another number of session musicians in Nashville and LA had been asked about, oh, can you give us the charts, or can you tell us what you're playing in those songs? And they were like, do you think I could fucking ring Vinnie Colaiuta in the 1980s when I was 16 and didn't know him, and be like, hey, what did you play with Chick Corea at the Blue Note in Tokyo, or what did you play on that album with Frank Zappa or Sting? It was like, no, God gave you 2 ears. Use them. But the YouTube playback feature now, that you can slow down the speed of stuff.
Right.
It's just gold. You can slow something to 50% or 75%, half or 3/4 speed. There's never been an easier time to become really good if you can train your ears to listen.
Does it change the tuning?
You know yourself when it sort of drags it out, you can get that elongated, nearly like walking on the moon, sort of that sort of thing. But you can still hear it note for note.
Yeah, and you can just
if I'm trying to break down some really fast drum fills,
like when we
just
were
to hear
growing
the
up,
phrasing.
You know, the hardest, you know, you'd be thinking of Rosanna, and how did you do Rosanna? How did you do that? Now there's that Spanish guy, he's on YouTube.
Yes, I know the guy you're talking about.
And he's not
wears
even
the
in
hat
band.
and the beard.
Yeah. Like he's doing money for nothing with one hand and a mask on his face.
But it's also evolved, the drums, though.
It definitely has.
And guitar and all instruments. Like if there was a time machine and you could bring, you know, some of them drummers from the 80s and show them what they're doing now, to be like,
yeah.
Look, I appreciate all of that, but out of all the fabulous guitarists out there, bring fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan and John Bonham back.
Yeah, to be hard
Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, that's
Randy
true
Rhoads.
too. It's true too.
Yeah,
True
let
too.
them play with all the toys of today and see how they get on.
True, very true, very true.
and even right down to the to actually buy an album, a physical album, back in the day. Like I remember when I got ZZ Top Eliminator, and I remember when I got Born to USA, just to even open it, and the cassette, it was a cassette, and just the smell of it, and you know, putting it in, and you know, and even folding it out to read the lyrics, or even to find the management. You thought, you know, oh, that's his management company. You know, you'd wonder if you sent them a letter, would they ever get it? But now, since COVID, you know, superstars are so accessible now. They seem to be so accessible.
That topic has come up so much, hasn't it, Luke? About going to buy your album and going to digest it and open it, like you just said. Now there's just next, and
people don't even listen to albums anymore. Full albums, it's playlists, it's a
even
single.
Structure of songs and everything is just kind of
because you would have had a structure, you know, sitting down as a band and right, let's, you know, now I'm not just throwing it out there because I'm in a Pearl Jam tribute show, but like I'm listening to the new Pearl Jam album Dark Matter there now, and I have to say it's the first album I've listened to where I'm actually steady listening to it all
the whole way through.
It's top class. I'm really loving it.
I only give it one full spin, to be honest, and I did enjoy it, and I don't know why I haven't gone back into it, but I will. But as I was just saying to you before we went on, myself and Luke did an album review on 10. My God, that album is...
Oh, it's crazy how good it was.
Like,
you know,
that's a masterpiece, I think. That is...
Hang it in the Louvre.
Like, it's definitely one of the most iconic, top 20, 30 albums in my all time. It's
Oh,
definitely up there.
Definitely,
So, like, it always gets a mention.
Yeah.
And we really went in depth of the songs, and I learned a lot from actually researching that album. And it's just the structure, kind of going off tangent here, but just the structure of that album. I feel like so much thought went into that. The fact that we were saying that once, and what's the second song?
Slave Master, then, as yours.
Yeah, but like
the last song into the
you
first.
You had once, and then what's the second track?
Why go, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why go?
Then you have Alive.
Jeremy, then is.
But like you them two massive
Black.
songs before the single that was released. You know,
Yeah.
it just kind of guides you, and you're like, holy shit, this is what? And then this is the single, and you're hitting me with these two monsters.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like the first 5 tracks on the album easily could have been spread over 2 albums.
Great.
For
Yeah.
2 singles on each. And
Such a great album. Sorry, going down.
Yeah, the quality of well, I have to say the quality of Pearl Jam in general, like Backspacer is a terrific album as well.
Yeah.
You know, they probably just lost their way. I don't mean the band lost their way, but since COVID, you know, they had an album there as well, and it probably didn't get to. We were all so tied up and
didn't get to the same
Trying to-
heights as the rest.
yeah, and trying to just, you know.
And on other foots, then, like, some albums have come out over COVID that have been monsters, I feel.
Yeah.
Because there was so much going on in people's head, and time to write, and feelings, and
yeah, we
you know,
definitely made superstars out of
some
out of
and
other people. You know,
But back to you, Nigel. So, was the first band that you were in, was that Cotton Mill?
yeah, that probably would have been the first official band, if you want to say. And then I moved on then to. He was a country singer from Moat in County Westmeath called T.R. Dallas, and Dallas was huge at the time.
Okay.
And J.R. Ewing was after being shot, so T.R.
Who did shoot him?
Yeah, who did
Shot JR.
Yeah.
It was Tom and Father Tent.
He actually had the song then, Who Shot J.R. Ewing?
No way.
Yeah. And so like I played with him for about a year, and then I left and joined Matt Levy. Matt Levy was going on the road, you know, with a full professional band.
He was a local man to you.
Local man, and it was, you know, he was doing really good. He was on lots of TV programs, and I was kind of looking at him going, "Jeez, I'd love to give that a go," you know. And I knew that his band at the time, I knew they had day jobs and they weren't interested in going with him. So I went for the audition, which was in the old Beachmount in Navan.
Okay.
And when I landed there, it was so funny because I remember landing with my Fiat Uno van and my Pearl drum kit in the back, and I walked in and there was a drummer already playing, and I was like, oh shit, it looks like I'm being roasted here, you know. And Matt comes over and he goes, it's okay, that guy came down with the guys, but he's not going to get the job, you have the job. And I was like, because I was only after buying a new kit off Gino, Barrel Above in Black Rock.
In Black Rock,
you know, and I was like, geez, you know, I was ready to go on the road, and I thought, then, you know, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, so I was with Matt for over 2 years, and a lot of good, positive stuff happened in them 2 years, you know, and I still wasn't even really, I wasn't singing even back then.
No?
I wasn't doing harmonies or nothing. I just, you know, like I would have been singing, but I still would have been just drumming and not
away,
having a mic in front of me, you know what I mean? And so then
Gigging in England and gigging all over.
Gigging all over, and we did some really good support. Like we did a full tour then in Ireland with Tammy Wynette, and then Buck Owens actually came in as well. Buck Owens was an amazing American old country singer, like, you know. Like I was watching Fall out there recently, and one of his songs is in it. It's just, you're just like, wow, you know, his drummer used my drums.
Yeah.
And then the best about it was then the manager that was looking after us at the time was bringing in all the big acts, any country, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, the Jordanaires, everybody, and he was also managing Sandy Kelly, and Sandy Kelly had just released a duet with Johnny Cash. And at that time, like Johnny Cash, he would have been on a down, you know, low at the time. Probably wasn't making the money. That would have been 1990.
Okay.
91. And there used to be even like a lot of bands coming in, like Meatloaf were the same, like they were coming in and doing small gigs, like in...
That was like the time that they played the Oasis around.
Yeah, like
late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, and it was just kind of, these acts were starting to tour again in Ireland, and so Matt, like we got the tour with Johnny Cash, the Jordanaires, which was Elvis's backing
Would have been
vocalist,
something else.
and Harold Bradley, who was the producer of Crazy, Patsy Cline. So we were the band, and they were all just thrown into the mix, and it was like Sandy and Matt, and then Johnny Cash, you know, they released a beautiful song called Wood Carver. And now I'm not going to lie to you, like Johnny would roll in and he'd get up on the stage and he'd do his few bits, like Sandy had her own drummer, but you know, you barely got to meet these people.
Yeah.
Until we did Wembley Arena then in London, and that was when I said to Matt, we really need to try and capitalise on this. It was the same with Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette would basically come off stage and there was limousine waiting for her. So I knew when we did the Cork Opera House, I said, I want to try and get a picture of her. We're after doing like maybe 10 shows.
Yeah.
And so I knew she had to walk out onto, so we just waited for her at the stage door, and as soon as she came down, it wasn't her fault, it was the security that was around her. And it was the same with Johnny. Like with Johnny walked in with June Carter and was a security guard, and John Levy, which was Matt's brother, he's no longer with us. John was a big man, and Matt was also tall. Like I was a small little runt of a 16-year-old, and we were like, no, it would have been a bit older at that time, but we nabbed Johnny Cash and got the picture with him, and he was fine. You know, it's just, and then we did the show, and
Man in Black.
Yeah, the Man in Black, you know. But you tell people these stories and they kind of like, he's talking shite. But you see, Johnny got so big then when the movie came out, Walk the Line, and it's the same with Meatloaf. When I Will Do Anything for Love came out, they started to become superstars again.
Yeah.
But people didn't realise that their careers were, because Johnny had been done with the drugs and America didn't want him, and he was like, okay, I'll go to Ireland and retreat for a while, build my career back up again, and then that's what kind of happened, you know. Wow. And we were very lucky to get to tour with these, and we used to do Bad Bobs then in Temple Bar every Tuesday night.
Oh man,
I've
heard some stories about Bad Bobs and Break for the Border.
Bobs there now.
Yeah,
Break for the Border after that, but like we did the Bad Bob Bull Goes Loose tour then, which was all around Ireland, but like it was just, they were just unbelievable. On a Tuesday night this place would be hopping. Absolutely hopping, and anybody could walk in there. Like Colin Farrell, when we used to do Break for the Border, Colin Farrell was a line dance teacher.
No way.
Yeah,
a line dance teacher.
So like, you know what I mean? You said it was just. I always remember as well playing with Matt, because Matt was great. He had some great contacts, and I always remember we were playing in Bad Bobs on a Tuesday night, and Matt says we'll go up early because. There's a couple of boys that were working like for Aiken at the time. They used to always come in and drink in Bad Bobs, and Dire Straits was in doing the On Every Street tour, and Matt says, come on, we'll go up to the Point. It was the old Point at the time, and we got to see a good lot of the Dire Straits before we got back, but it was an amazing show as well, you know.
No way.
Wow. Yeah.
Knopfler and all the boys.
Oh, Jesus, it was unreal. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget walking in like Romeo and Juliet was playing. The drummer that was with him, you probably remember looking out, but he drummed with Paul McCartney. He was a young enough guy, he used to wear gloves. I'd be useless with names, but
no, I can't recall who drummed it.
But he drummed like Calling Elvis and all them songs. Like it was that On Every Street tour.
Yeah, Jeff Picaro drummed with Dire Straits for a good while. Them and on a lot, well, not live, I don't think. Yeah. He drummed on the albums.
Right, and it definitely wasn't him now, but
was it Knopfler's brother played the drums, or did he play another instrument in the band?
Rhythm guitar.
Rhythm.
I think he did.
Yeah.
But there were good times, you know. There were great times, and you know, I stayed with Matt for I consider like about 2 years, and then I eventually. You know, the band started to kind of slow down, and Matt's manager, the income wasn't there, and there was no. So he pulled the band from under Matt, and then we all kind of just went, and I joined another guy called Sean O'Farrell, who was managed at the time with Louis Walsh, was his manager. Yes. So Louis was looking after him that time, and that was really good as well. I toured with Don Williams, toured with Tammy Wynette again, did America a few times, did Australia, and then I got. My first marriage, you know, I went and got married like really, really young, at like 24, I think it was. And I remember talking to Louis and just saying, listen, I'm going off the road. We had a family business, furniture business, and I said, I want to be at home and I don't want to be on tour anymore. And he said to me, okay, but I might have something that might be up your street. Linda Martin is touring, but she's not touring regularly, and she's doing a lot of these, you know, gigs where you just hop on a plane, and it could be like Monte Carlo, it could be Portugal, whatever. And I says, right, that suits me fine, just to keep me hand in it.
The loop.
And it was a different style of music because I was always country. It was always country music.
Yeah.
And with Linda, it was giving me the opportunity to drum with a click track for the very first time. She was using tracks, which was like a modern thing at the time. And you're like, how does this work? Our keyboard player was thriving the click. There was no vocal cues, but it was still a click, you know. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is a bit of a challenge. I'll do this for a while, and did it for about a year and enjoyed it. And
with Linda.
Yeah, and then that's when I got itchy feet, and it was like this, and I'm feeling this kind of, because Linda was a little bit more poppier and, you know, rock songs and stuff like that. So that was just the tail end of probably 92, 93, and I started then I wanted to play rock music, which I was like, never chanced before. So I went out and bought Appetite for Destruction and Hysteria
from Linda Martin to after
that was it. I swear to God.
Guns N' Roses and Def Leppard.
Honest to God, they were me too. You know, from a live drum kit to a and that was the two first now, you know, and then, you know, moving on then. And
but you were constantly learning
all the time, and as like we were on about it before, you know, like I went to see Queen in Slane in '86, but I still never got that rock gene that I wanted to be a rock drummer back then. Mum and Dad were always playing country, and when we go on holidays, was always listening to Charlie Pride or listening to Phil Coulter or Diana O'Donnell. So they were superstars to me, and I knew all them songs the back of my hand, like you know. So when I went to see Queen in '86, I didn't come home going, I want to be Roger Taylor. It didn't take me, you know, it didn't win my heart over. I just seen a famous band, and I went home and I was still playing, you know, Blanket on the Ground at the weekend and 57 Chevrolet.
Yeah. Didn't get the bug at that one.
No, I didn't get the bug until I met the lads.
Yeah.
Later on, you know, I used to go out then in Navan a lot, and I would have seen Brendan and Andrew Rayburn with the Bomber Band.
Yeah.
And they would have got me up to sing, and I remember singing, I think it was Lizard. Lizard was the name of the venue at the time. It was David Beggy's pub. Beggy's.
Okay.
And they got me up, and I remember singing Summer 69 with them, and I could see Brendan was like, just where's this fella's voice come from, you know? And I was probably drumming with Mary Duff at the time, and I got a call off Declan Campbell to say that they were putting a band together and would have liked to meet up with the lads. And so it was myself, Declan Campbell, Andrew Rayburn and Brendan, and we met above in Cullen in Joey Devlin's, I don't know if you know Joey Devlin, and we in a milking parlour. Jesus Christ. And we went through songs.
What a place for a rehearsal.
Yeah, there was nice reverb in it, I'll tell you that. And I'll never forget the first, I think Going Nowhere, Therapy was the first song.
Therapy.
That Brendan, and we did the Frames one, Revelate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there was, like Declan would have been like, you know Declan Campbell.
I know the name, I've heard the boys on
an unbelievable guitar player from Cross McLean, you know. And you know, so they would have been throwing songs at me, you should do this one and you should do that one. And Declan sent me Hallowed Be the Name, Iron Maiden, which I knew of Iron Maiden from the 80s because my cousins from Canada came home and they had Run to the Hills, and I was like kind of listening to it, you know, secretly without my mum and dad knowing, because I thought it was the devil's music. Like, jeez, this could get me in trouble, you know, listening to this.
Wooden spoon.
Yeah. But I remember Declan saying, this Hallowed Be the Name, and that long note, and you drumming and singing it. And I was like, what? You know? And then Brendan would have showed me Black, Rearview Mirror, and Empty Rooms, and all them kind of songs, The Black Rose, Emerald, and that's where I started to kind of go.
Is that when you first started singing then?
Probably I would have been singing a little bit before that with my mum and dad and that, but not
Like when
Not
you were
behind the drums.
No, yeah. Like when you were saying you weren't, like you were drumming.
Yeah.
At what point did you actually start singing?
I probably started singing, I'd say probably at around 17 or 18.
17 or
like
18.
Properly through the mic and behind the kit.
After math.
I knew I could sing before that. Like I knew, like I would have sang with mum and dad, but never drummed and sang. You know, but then when I was with, you know, with Linda Martin, I would have probably started doing a bit of harmony.
Okay.
And then, you know, we used to do a lot of country things on a Tuesday night in Navan and stuff like that. And then there was a microphone put in front of me, and you were like, oh, yeah, I'll sing and sing and sing. Yeah, so we probably would have been around 93, 94.
93, 94, okay.
You know.
And then the Eurostar with Louis then.
Yeah, that was in 99.
Skipping on a bit.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of work with a singer at the time. Mark Roberts is his name. He represented Ireland in the Eurovision. Actually, he actually came second. Katrina and the Waves won it that year, and he was Sean Hegarty at the time was his name, and I was his drummer. And he had a great band, which was the Sheerans, who are involved with Take It to the Limit now. That's who I'm playing now.
Yeah.
And Danny was on drums and Desi was on bass, and Danny was deciding that he wanted to leave, and so he got a job with Daniel O'Donnell doing backing vocals, and I replaced him then with that band. And they were writing songs at the time. I wasn't really writing, and they were writing, and I was doing a lot of stuff with Desi in the studio, and I was like, this is actually really cool. And then they wrote a song for Eurosong, and they didn't want to sing it themselves, and they said, would you be interested in doing it? And I said, geez, yeah, I'd love to do it. So I did it, and we didn't win, but it was a great experience. We got on Kenny Live at the time, which was like the Late Late Show.
Yeah.
And got a bit of publicity out of it. But like Brendan Keeley was on it, who was a big star for me.
And another learning curve, like.
Another learning curve. Like at the time, you want to win everything, but you don't realise that these are all just little learning curves. You need a kick in the bollocks every now and again.
Probably something to keep you honest.
Yeah.
Fuel the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And
probably worth more at that point.
Yeah,
than
like
not winning.
You know, and it was a tremendous experience. It definitely got me. When I look back at it now, I had serious tuning issues, and I was like, I was able to actually look back and go, oh God, I'm singing flat there, and that is desperate. I need to work on that, and that's, how did I get away with that? You know, and that's when I wasn't even thinking about, why did we not win? I was thinking about, geez, that's flat, that note's flat. You know, so that's when I started to really
critique yourself. And
I'm going to try and do it as a singer here now, not just as a drummer anymore. And try and sing me nuts off and get proper tuning, and not training, because I did go for training and it just wasn't for me. But it just analyse stuff. You see, maybe it's a problem. My biggest probably problem is that I would listen to a lot of singers and try and imitate them nearly, you know. But so I'd have a little, if you have a melting pot, I would have a little bit of Bruce Springsteen in there, a little bit of Bono, a little bit of Vedder, whatever, mixed it all up, you know, and there's something coming out there. Ryan Adams, I love Ryan Adams as well. So, and then I love my country music, which Vince Gill. Like I have a pure voice, I have a husky voice, I have a raw voice. So it depends on what
style you have to perform.
And then I do. When I was working with the Sheerans, I would have learned my trade as a harmony singer.
Okay.
And that's how you really got on well with the lads, and that worked very, very well. When Danny decided then to leave Daniel O'Donnell, Danny Sheeran, there was an opening there for me to, you know, it was a few years later, but I eventually got the job there with Daniel, not just as a drummer, but as a harmony singer. So I was in a 3-part harmony group. And it was amazing.
That was amazing.
Learning this trade. I was learning from one of the best harmony singers from Belfast, who worked with Van Morrison and everybody.
Wow.
We would go up to his studio in Belfast. Crawford Bell was his name. He only died recently there. And he would basically go through all the parts and the songs that Daniel was doing. It wasn't just country. We were doing like lots of like really 60s songs, like Bobby Venton, and well-produced songs that had really good harmonies. and you were learning your harmonies, and I wasn't able to read music, so he taught me the number system, which was the Nashville number system. So he would write down the number system for me, and you're on a 5, and she's on the 3, and you're on that's how I followed.
That's how you learned.
And that's how I learned. So we'd go, and we did some concerts, and I'd have my music stand beside me as me, drumming, and I'd have my sheet music, and I'd have me score on. And now I would learn mentally as well.
Yes.
But it was just learning, like the Daniel thing. A lot of people went to me, "Oh, you played with Daniel Donald? Oh, are you crazy?" I had 6 great years with Daniel that just
toured the world too.
Toured the world and learn. I tell you what it was is learning to be in a band and not just to be the band as a drummer.
To be a player.
Yeah, and space.
Yes.
Learning space, because it was a 10-piece band.
Oh.
And it was brushes. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, I'd say I probably only broke about 3 drumsticks ever. I was with for 6 years. But it was such a tasty gig.
One every second year.
Yeah, one every second year. Yeah, I could tell you a really funny story of when I did break a drumstick with him. It was a great learning, and I have to say, growing up with Mum and Dad, he was a superstar to me. To get to play with him was like...
He was in everyone's house in Ireland.
Like, we did the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. We did a full DVD from there, and that was for me a dream. The old Ryman, not the new Grand Ole Opry. Like, and that for me was, I was crying like on the stage. We backed Charlie Pride for 3 songs, and then Daniel came on, did a full show, and it's stuff of dreams.
Can you still get that DVD, Nigel?
Yeah,
it's
that's
on
right.
YouTube,
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. The whole album's on Spotify. Like, that's. I would still get royalty money coming through from Imro and everything, and rap from that, from working with Daniel. We would have done a lot of DVDs, PBS specials in America where...
On telly,
yeah. I was very, very lucky. I suppose I'm not lucky, I suppose. You're playing with royalty, but we were doing these great shows in America, and they weren't just Irish centres. Like, we were doing ice hockey arenas like, we did the Target Centre in Toronto.
Yeah.
And I went to see Prince, I think, about 3 nights before that. And we were like...
Oh, man.
You done the big one in Chicago too, wasn't it?
We did Chicago, we did Carnegie Hall, we did...
The United Centre in Chicago?
It's an old church.
No, the church in... I think it was like St. Pat's or something like that.
Church.
But, we used
Carnegie
to do...
Hall, like...
Yeah, we did some great gigs now. Really, really great gigs. Royal Albert Hall in London.
Oh, fabulous venue.
I remember doing the Royal Albert Hall in London, and then the week after we came back and we did a small little gig above in Donegal that Daniel does every year. And I had the exact same in-ear mix that I had in the Royal Albert Hall, playing in this tiny little room with 150 people. Yeah. And I was laughing, going, God, that's the same reverb. Because I had a stereo mix. I had a beautiful mix, you know what I mean?
Isn't it incredible, Nigel, how the door not opening for you winning Eurostar?
Yeah.
What that led on to, and as you said, acknowledging what you needed to work on.
Exactly.
Wasn't the right time.
In a realistic way.
Yeah.
Not being a harsh self-critic, but being honest with yourself.
Yeah, you have to, because at that stage, look, I didn't know if I wanted to be a singer or I still don't know. I love my drums.
Yeah.
I love playing drums, but...
we can see that evidently from before we got rolling here. We had some fun going through some drums.
It's got some lovely drum kits here, I'll tell you.
Children in a sweet shop here.
It's just, but it's great to know, like, unfortunately, I'm 51 now in June, and I always call it the Rolls Royce, the voice. When it packs in, I at least I know I can always...
You can always drums, fall back, yeah.
It's something that I love playing, and it was always my passion was to play drums. But to be a singer as well as is just the icing on the cake. And I just love entertaining, and I love, a lot of people would have always said to me, oh, you need to pick that kind of music, or you need to pick rock music, or you need to pick country. I just like to just try and open my mind and just say, right, give me a song, and if I can't sing it, well, that's fine. Yeah. But I like to give it a shot, you know what I mean? And that's
like I used to torture you.
I can't drum everything.
I used to torture you in RD with the Hello Be Thy Name drumming and singing. Yeah. I always remember. But talk about your voice and that, like I know I did, and I know other lads did. Like, we used to count the weeks down when you boys would come into town. Like, that was the talent. Yous was so far ahead of a lot of bands. Like,
yeah, I remember coming into RD to play in McCoy's years ago, and I remember pulling up in my car, and this young lad came out and he says, "I'll give you a hand in with your drums," and I was like, "Yeah, thanks very much." And he was probably about 16.
Yeah.
And Andrew Rayburn came out, and Andrew goes, "See that little whore?" I said, "Yeah, that's Collie Byrne. He's an unbelievable little guitar player." And 2 years later, he was in our band.
That's right, yeah.
And Collie is just, still a friend of mine.
Yeah,
still,
yeah. Very good guitarist.
Oh, fucking amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
He's easily one of the best guitar players I've ever played with. I'm not just blowing smoke now. He's
a nice lad too.
Great lad.
Yeah.
Great lad. And another lad that was horrid easy to work with.
Right.
But that was RD at the time. We did the Danny Boy in Reestown. Like, you were meeting all these young lads who were
networking,
coming, and you were like, that guy's, unbelievable guitar player, and even Chris Carney. Like, I knew of Chris. I knew, this mad little who running around or whatever, and then with, he had his own bands or whatever. But I'm in with Chris now and Beyond the Music, and I'm with him in Light Years.
A lot of different stuff, yeah.
And not only is he a great guitar player, now a great keyboard player.
Yeah, he likes his piano too, doesn't he? Yeah.
But no, it's brilliant to see that sort of talent, and don't get me wrong, I call it homegrown talent. It's not factory bought. Like, I'm living in Germany now, and there's a lot of factory bought musicians who think if they buy that drum kit, that guitar, that they can be as good as. But a lot of it has to come from in here. It's an internal clock that, for me, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know when I rehearsed behind the drum kit last. Even singing a song, like we're learning some of the new songs from Pearl Jam now, I'd be probably learning them as I'm sitting on an airplane or on a train. I'm just singing on Spotify, and then the first time I would sing them would be a sound check.
Wow.
And if it works, it works. And most of the time it does work.
Yeah.
But I'll work it out. Even drumming wise, I would work out a lot of stuff with my teeth. This is unreal.
Okay, that's your way of doing it.
My teeth.
No way.
And I'd know that my left hand is to start first.
That's the trick.
Like, it's strange, I've worked with drummers who are like, we might do that song next week. Oh, I have no access to a drum kit. And I'm like, what? You have access to your hands, your knees.
Yeah.
You can do it here.
Practice pads, sticks on counters,
everything,
pillows, cushions.
The access to the drum kit is what I just don't. I never understood this. I read Dave Grohl's book. Well, I didn't read it. I listened to it, and I was so surprised when he said he drums with his teeth as well.
No way.
And I was like, right, so I'm not crazy here.
Yeah.
I'd be drumming away like I'm grinding the teeth.
I've never really heard of anybody doing that before.
Yeah. You get some nice sounds in your mouth.
Yeah. You get a lot of phonics going on.
But you kind of nearly know, you know what I mean? You kinda, it's weird. I know it's weird.
No, but once you have your way that you can figure out certain sections or certain parts.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to someone about this last week. They were asking, like, how do you go about, say, learning a song or stripping something down? And I remember the first time I was asked to audition for a band at school, and it was like after doing my junior cert, and I had to learn 3 songs, and I was like, how am I going to go about doing this? It's like just the way that I would anything else. It's like reading a book, chapter by chapter.
Yeah.
So I was like, start with the intro, start with the verse, then try and mix them together, bring in the pre-chorus, and just put it all together.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
We'll skip on to
and you're a great drummer.
Still
I've seen
tipping
some
away.
of your stuff online and that, like, and as I saying, I'd know Gavin for a long time, but I never met Luke before.
Oh no, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Or Liam,
even though
as
I called you
Chris
Liam,
Carney
like,
likes to call me at this point in time.
Dead man Carney. Dead man walking.
Yeah. No, we really enjoyed the gig the other night in Dundalk.
Oh, thanks for coming in as well. Yeah,
brilliant.
If you'd have given me the t-shirt, I would have worn it.
Yeah. I didn't want to sound like a prick.
I seen Chris walking in and I was like, a free t-shirt. I never say no to a free t-shirt.
Yeah.
Go on.
We might look after you. I know you're strapped for time, so we just...
No, all good.
You're all good?
All good.
2016 then.
Yeah, what? That was one of them years. That was
a good year though.
I know, it was a great year. I'll tell you, look at...
Hey, Trump got elected that year. Great year for America.
2016 was a very good year. Yeah, I was working a lot in Navan. I was doing a Monday night gig for the Palace.
Yes.
And Darren Kavanagh was the manager there. And he used to, like yourself, he loved Hallowed Be the Name. He loved all the, I had the Springsteen song out before that.
That was before that, yeah.
Darren was just a great guy. Like, I could be sitting at home and he'd ring me, he'd go, band is after letting me down. I know you were playing here last night. Do you want to come in? I'd say, yeah, never let him down. Me and Mark Cahill played there. We were there religiously nearly every night. And then Darren was like, I remember I was in Vietnam on holidays with my wife, and Darren sent me a message. Would you like to enter The Voice? And I was like, don't know. He says, if you enter it, he says, we'll pay for all your posters, whatever advertisement, we'll look after everything. The Palace will back you. And I said, just Darren, just say I don't get past the first round. What happens then? You will. And I said, no, but seriously. Like, I'm making a living out of this. This is what I do for a living. I don't pass that first round. That's, it's a major kick in the stones for me, And he says, you will. So he filled in all the forms.
Oh, yeah.
Sent them away. I came back from Vietnam. Could have been Thailand. My wife would probably tell me I did Vietnam too. But she'd probably say, no, it was Thailand. So I came back home anyway, and I got my thing in the post that I had to go for the audition. And there was a list of songs that you had to pick.
Well, you hadn't, it wasn't a free...
No, Jesus, no. And I seen Desire, U2, and I was, right, okay, I'll pick that one. So I picked that, and I went up, and no rehearsal, nothing, went out, and it was weird, because there was such tension. Like, I played in Helix loads of times, but it was still nerve-wracking. I walked in, there was people, walking up the rooms, going, all this, and I was like, fuck, these are taken very serious here,
Yeah.
It's like walking into a pub with a load of mad people and all you want's a pint.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, and I could hear the others sound checking, and I could hear the band that was rocking, and I think I knew the guy that was doing the PA, I think it was John Vickers, and I knew that was a good system in there, but there wasn't a big audience. And I was like, okay, sure. And I knew the song then was shorter. It was only verse straight into middle eight and out.
Okay.
So that was another thing, because I was always singing Desire but singing the full version. So I was,
I don't do the two versions.
I have to cut this short now.
Yeah.
And then, with nerves, started to build. Even though I had so much experience, I was starting to look around and go, there's actually some great fucking singers here. And I mightn't get past this first round. You start doubting yourself. And then it was like, number 24, Nigel Connell. And I was like, oh, here we go. Bang, microphone out, and
looking at 4 chairs.
Sang the first verse, went into the bit of the chorus, and then the middle eight section, still no chairs turned.
Down the sweat.
And I was like, here we go. And then I just let it rip for the, oh, sister. Next thing, boom. And I didn't know
who it was.
Because the lights were so bright. It was lovely, and the sound was lovely. No in-ears, nothing. And it was Una. And I had a bit of a thing for Rachel, because when we were with the Cunning Stunts, we were always S7, we were always with Rachel, so sexy, and I was like, I'm fucking going to pick her if she turned around. And bang, she turned around, and I was like, okay, 2 ladies. And Keane was there, and I knew Westlife because of Louis Walsh.
Yes.
And I was at their launch when they were West Side.
Okay.
And I was like, if he turns around, maybe I should just go for him, because
and you were still singing at this time?
Singing and working it out in my brain.
Yeah.
With the connection, and then he didn't turn and Brazy didn't turn, and I said, right, that's fine, that's grand. And I was like, right, Rachel Una. And
Jeez,
then I remember
a good pick, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I remember my brother Bobby just kind of saying to me before, oh God, Una Healy, she's lovely. I hadn't a clue about Saturdays or anything like that, but I just knew she was Irish, Tipperary girl, and I was kind of thinking, I knew her uncle, and I was like, I could probably make a connection with her more than Rachel, because I got to know how it worked, and I knew that I was never going to be best friends with these people. They were hired in to do a job.
Yeah.
So I picked Una, and it was the right decision. Now, when I didn't win, and when we went to the after show party, Keane, I got on very well with Keane through the whole process, and I always said to him, I should have picked you, and I said, but you never turned.
Yeah.
You never turned, and he goes, oh, I know, I'm sorry, and I said, yeah, but Do you think they get any insight of the singers coming on? Are they told? I think they did. I think they definitely did. I think, I'd like to say that they didn't, but I honestly think, because they were on the fourth floor, say. I didn't really get to meet Una. I got to meet her then when I was paired up for the battle. Yeah. But I mean, as the way we're talking, I didn't really get to know her until the quarterfinals, and that's when I was like, she's 100%. She's actually dead on. But then, all superstars, there was security hired, and they were kept there, and we were there.
Yeah, you don't feel comfortable.
You don't, and it was basically a TV show.
Show me your stamp there. Show me your stamp to talk to them. Yeah.
And I was starting to work it out in my head.
Well, you were by far about singer.
Well, I got to a stage where I was thinking to myself, I'm a little bit old to be in this, which was fine. But then I got to the stage where I was thinking I could actually win it. And then I got to the stage where I was thinking, hang on a minute here. Just use it as a getting into a person's sitting room on a Sunday night. That's basically all you're doing here. And even when I wanted to do In the Air Tonight, I wanted to do that even earlier. Yeah. And it was like, no.
Keep that.
You can't do that.
Oh, you weren't allowed to?
And I was like, why can I not do it? You would have, you'd have an advantage. I said, what do you mean I'd have an advantage? That's my instrument. He's playing the guitar. That's his advantage. Yeah, so I said, well, look, I really want to give it a go. And okay, we'll see what we can do. And they'll call me and they says, no, it's too long. In the Air Tonight, it's too long. I said, we can cut it. Yeah, okay. And then we'll have nobody to set up the drum kit. And we were playing at a wedding, I think, in Sligo the night before. I said, I'll set up the drum kit myself. So I had to basically be in the Helix at 6 o'clock in the morning, set up a monster of a lovely Gretsch drum kit. It was video. Unbelievable. Set it up, and Brezzy comes out and he goes, can I sit behind the kit? And I said, yeah, fire away. And he was like, what are you doing up here? And I said, I have to set it up.
And that's bullshit.
And set up the drum kit, and it was pushed out. And then I'll never forget, because it was nerve-wracking enough at the time.
Was it on a riser, Nigel?
It was on a riser, and then they wanted me to stand at the very start and move around like the way Phil Collins did, which was great. I'm comfortable at doing all that. But the uncomfortable part that the producer wanted at the time was to use one radio mic. So what they wanted me to do was walk around, get behind the drum kit, and then put the mic in.
That's right. On live tele.
So I tried it 3 times at the dress rehearsal. It was making noise, and and then pick up drumsticks.
Yeah.
So the sound man, I think it's John Vickers. He comes up and he goes, "Sorry, what are you trying to do there with the microphone? Is that your preference that you just wanted to use the one microphone?" I says, "No." He says, "I'll give you another microphone." And I says, "Seriously, no problem. I have 2 of the exact same microphones." I said, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a pillow down beside the floor, Tom. When you come up, drop that one in and sing." And that, we didn't even get the chance for a rehearsal. I basically just went out, did the live performance, came around, dropped it into the pillow.
To you,
yeah, me, bum, and
straight in.
That was it. And for me, that was my final. That was that was me winning the final, because the reaction was...
Oh, it was class.
It was unreal.
I can still see it in my head here now.
For me, it was me Maximus moment from Gladiator when you go, "Are you not entertained?"
Fuck you.
Yeah, I can't do any more. And then the following week, they bring you on, and it's the week where they have to bring you down, kick you in the balls.
Yeah.
And they tell me I'm going to sing Here I Go Again. I'm like, I don't want to sing that song. Oh no, you used to sing that song. And then I sing the song, and then Brazzy rips me apart. Oh, it was karaoke, and my wife, her friend, and I'm going, he didn't even pick the song!
Did she share it? Did she?
So, this was it. This was when I went,
This when you said,
where I am not going to win this. And this is just complete TV.
Bullshit.
And I says, right, okay. And then they said, we all have to record a song for the final, and if you win, that becomes your single. I wanted to do In the Air Tonight. They were saying, no, Live and Let Die.
That's
Live and Let Die. Sure, it's a great song, don't get me wrong, but everyone remembers me for In the Air Tonight.
Yeah.
No, you won't be doing In the Air Tonight in the final. I says, what? They wanted to do Live and Let Die again in the final. And I says, okay.
Who was it? Was it a girl that won it?
No, it was a chap from Monaghan, Michael. I can't even think of his surname, but he won it with that. Once I was 7 years old.
Okay,
a great young lad and a gentleman and a great singer.
But it was
and everything.
Yeah.
But it was just that song was probably perfect at the time. It was out, younger audience or whatever. But I just felt that if I had the chance to have done In the Air Tonight again, because I would have been doing a longer version.
Yeah, you had more.
Would have done the full version.
So it would have just really, and it would have been more.
You could have got that big gated
it would have been more.
Yeah. Because they brought in, for Live and Let Die, they brought in brass section and they brought in harmony singers and everything,
I do remember it.
But look, it was an experience, and then I didn't win it, and then about a month passed, and I got a call off Louis Walsh to say that they wanted me for X Factor.
Oh.
And they want you to do In the Air Tonight, and you can go down and rehearse in Cork, and don't worry, you'll get straight through, and you'll be straight through to the first TV round. And I just says, no, I'm not doing it. I had already done a year out with with The Voice, which wasn't earning any money. I was trying to balance the two, playing the weddings, being tired, and I was like, if I go to England now, and I definitely probably wouldn't have the talent. Don't get me wrong. And I was like, I'm done now. I'm keep going when I'm going, and just.
But it was another learning curve again. You said,
another learning curve. But it was another way of me figuring out that
that's not the way to go. Yeah.
It's TV, it's not talent.
But
it is talent. Don't get me wrong. I'm running myself down here.
Yeah, but
definitely talent. But
I remember watching
TV.
it at home, and we were all like, "Daddy, Nigel's just going to win," and then you're like, "Huh?" Like, no harm to you, man. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but it was strange, and I don't want to be sore loser, but when we walked offside stage, that girl was kicking things around the place.
She was.
Oh, she was devastated.
Yeah.
And then she just was like, "This is wrong. This is wrong."
Yeah.
I've watched The Voice in Germany. I've watched The Voice in Holland, and the voting system in Ireland was never seen. It was always just like
it was all into the RT swindle pot.
Yeah. So
most corrupt organisation.
Yeah, so there was never I would have liked
more money to pay so and so.
If it was going through Vodafone, I would have liked to demand it to see the votes, please.
And did you actually ask?
No,
didn't bother.
No,
didn't want to look like a. Yeah.
You don't look like a sore loser and like that. I didn't even get second, so I wasn't a sore loser. But I was devastated when I seen her. And then, there was an after show party, and there was people that was working on the show who were kind of saying, we had already got the tip that you were the winner, and then last minute, boom, it was changed, and they were delighting with the congratulations.
Fuck off.
Yeah. So it was that point where I was like,
yeah, just forget about it. Yeah.
Then I couldn't do anything, couldn't even release the song. It was in the contract that you couldn't even release the song, and I was like, fuck it, it's shite anyway, I'm not going to release it.
Yeah.
So just move on and
bury
it. And so, to answer your question, 2016 was it was a learning curve.
Another learning curve.
And I tell you, it
much
brought me back.
For you, Nigel,
it totally. When I seen the support, it was like Meath being in the All Ireland. Around my area, it was just the respect and the love I got off people.
Even in RD.
and I was devastated for them.
Yeah,
you know, and my mother as well. My mother, God love her, you know, and it was a tough time.
Yeah.
I have to say, it fucking hurted me, you know. And then it does your confidence no good then as well, because you're
vulnerable up there in front of the whole
basically back
country.
then going,
You say that little voice on your shoulder or in your head, that self-doubt.
can I actually do this?
Yeah.
You know, can I do it? And maybe I shouldn't be doing it. And then COVID comes in and totally kicks you in the balls.
Yeah.
And then you're like thinking,
shit,
maybe I have to do something else here.
Yeah,
maybe music is gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think it's just coming kind of going again. And, and
we were talking about that as well, Gavin, weren't we? About we think there's a real uprising happening around the country.
With guitar players and everything.
Yeah, no, there's something happening.
Yeah, there definitely is.
There's well, even look, you were talking like even the likes of the music that Nigel, the country stuff and that, like different people around the area going to England, going here, like, and then the rock scene, the metal scene. I know that's not what you're mostly into, but like there's definitely something brewing. Like,
but it's great to see everything, like even
all music.
The country fest there, local to us in Inniskeen, packed full of people between their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
You know, teenagers.
And even the traditional scene is huge.
The trad scene is got big.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I would actually like to say that it's incredible that the amount of people that message the page looking for banjo lessons.
Yeah.
Young people my age as well, that want to take up and play the banjo.
Cool.
Now, I can't play it.
But do you have to understand that like music, like I left school at 15 and I'd never, you know, I left in second year. My education was very, very low. But I wined and dined with the best of people with music.
Yeah.
And I could talk shite till the cows come home, and you know, and I don't even mean talking shite, but I can tell stories, I can talk to people, and I was on cruises and I was in places where, you know, you're sitting with people who are definitely more educated than me, and I don't think I let myself down, and I think I earned their respect, and you know, so that I think music will always get you. Especially if you want to go to America and or Australia or whatever, and you can take out a guitar and you can sit in a pub. You don't want to be a superstar or anything, but it's just you want to be a friend with somebody, and I think with that knowledge of being able to play, it gets you the respect and the friendship that
you'll always
helps
be
you
fit
through.
to break into a social
it's
circle.
an education in itself, Nate.
Yes.
You know, like even now, I'm living in Germany 2 years, and even in the area I'm living now, there's people will call me, they'll go, like when I was building the new house, the guy that did all our surveying was like, right, I'll do that for you, but you play at my Christmas party next year. And I said, yeah, no worries.
No bother, yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh, it's happening again.
Yeah.
I'm only here, you know.
Yeah.
But that's just
That's a nice feeling.
It's a nice feeling to know that you know, scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yeah.
You know?
When did you start writing then your own original stuff?
Started writing my own original stuff probably back in 99, but it wasn't very good. And then, you know, I started realistically settling down when I met Mark Cahill and Martin Quinn, working with Liam Lawton. And I working with Mark, who was just unbelievable. I recorded my first album with him then, which was kind of more of a classical crossover album, like Josh Groban. I loved Josh Groban at the time. We went to see him in London, and he was the drummer, classical singer, but it was rock. I was like, I'm going to try and copy this, you know what I mean? And so my first album was that kind of style. I wrote, I think at least In My Heart, Nothing Left to Say, Down by the Mountain. There was about 5 originals on that, which I couldn't do now. The style I'm doing now is more Americana, but that's the style I was hitting at the time. Because I was working with these guys and I was thinking, right, they have Liam with PBS, and I've already, you know, worked with, you know, a couple of different shows where it was PBS. So if I hit this market, like the Celtic Tenors or whatever, it might work for me. It's a nice suit. I did a concert in RD with an orchestra and all, and you know, doing the big songs, Bring Him Home and Nessa Dorma and all them. And I was like, maybe it's the way to go, and it didn't work for me. And I was like, okay. So then I started writing them with Martin McQueen in studios and in Jam Studios in Kells, and it was turning out I would have been listening to a lot more Americana, like from Ryan Adams to Augustina and bands like that. So Matt Kearney, and I was getting some nice songs, you know, and working them with Martin. I was like, so that's the style I'm on now, probably about 6 years, and I have another new song coming out now in a couple of weeks called Life to Begin, and I'm on a positive streak at the moment. I'm writing a good lot of fast stuff.
Okay.
When you were younger, you're writing more love songs and they're washy and they're like, ugh. Now I'm writing a lot more fast stuff, and if this will be my third fast song in a row, which I'm proud of.
Nice.
And I have a new song after that called The Town.
Oh.
Which is not about Dundalk, but it's about
Go on, Dundalk.
But I'm very proud of that. But I'm using all the lads. I'm using Chris, Andrew, Brendan, with Martin as well, and Jimmy Brennan on drums. I'm not drumming myself on it. I always love to bring somebody in and
Feel comfortable with.
yeah, and just say, show me what you can do to that, because this is what I hear, but I want something different and I can't do it.
Yeah.
I will admit,
You
you
said
know.
that yourself, Luke, about the band you're in now, the Savage Hearts, and that, like you putting your own wee twist on it, like it's
Yeah,
nice.
I couldn't believe that. As I said to you, I was a huge fan of Evan when he played with the Stripes. You know, we talked about that in the podcast with Evan, and to have him say, "Oh, I'd like you to bring your style to
Yeah.
it, because that's something that I can't do and sing,
Yeah.
or I'm not willing to put the time into to learn how to do it and sing it." It's like maybe just being naturally heavy-handed behind the kit is
Yeah, like I'm
looking for that style of music.
I might hear a drum roll, I mightn't physically be able to do it. If I sat down and probably rehearsed, I probably could. But I could just turn around to Jimmy or you, I'd probably say, I want that, you know, and he'd go like this, and I go, that's it,
That's the one.
go, record, you know, or I'd probably break my arm trying to do it.
Yeah, it was actually funny. Last night we played in the Button Factory with the Savage Hearts, and thanks to John Barker and Tilt for having us as part of the Tilt sessions. And there's one bit in a particular song that Evan says, like, go ham on that.
Yeah.
Brought in this sort of triplety fill and got the nod of approval. We caught it on video. It's brilliant.
Seen it.
It's just it's just he turns around, it's like
It's
that's
like
the one.
I don't know whether you follow. Is it Sepultura? Is it?
Yes,
they have a new drummer now, that Grayson.
Grayson Nudeman.
Yeah, and he's the young guy that I started following during COVID, and because he was doing all the Buddy Rich stuff, and I was looking at him going, "This guy is amazing. He's unreal." And I just see him now, he's playing with them, and he's going to be a superstar. Like, he's coming to a city very close to me now soon, in Erfurt in Germany, and I sent him a message there, because I sent him a message loads of times, and he'd always reply to me, and I sent him a message saying, I'm going to go to see you in Erfurt. I'm not a Sepultura fan by any means, but I've watched them.
Yes.
And I wouldn't even know what the original drummer brought, but
Eli's playing with Slipknot.
He just changed Slipknot.
Okay.
You want to see, he put up a video, was it of Disaster piece at the end?
Yeah,
I think.
I just sent you the message.
Yeah.
Fuck, he hits hard.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about precision, Nigel. Like, everything is dynamic.
Jay Weinberg was there for a while.
Yeah. Jay was there for a good while, and now it's funny, they've done this weird circle that Grayson went from Suicidal Tendencies to Sepultura, Eli went from Sepultura to Slipknot, and Jay went from Slipknot to Suicidal Tendencies. Yeah. So they've just all rotated.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone take a step to the right.
I honestly think that young chap Grayson, I think he will be a force to reckon with. Like, he's fast, he's a lovely touch. He probably comes more from the jazz end of things, and he probably will just have to get heavier sticks or whatever. I think somebody did comment like, your cymbals are too light, or
some of the metal stuff I find maybe doesn't cut for the metal stuff, but it's like everything else. I'm sure they have certain cymbals that will fit in with that genre. Like,
but it's just great to see that was the one positive thing from COVID, and we were speaking about this last night. I was in Drogheda last night with Steve Millen and Brendan we're putting together to be on the music show again, and we were just talking about COVID and that young lad probably was seen by Sepultura, posting a video on YouTube or whatever. it just goes to show you how accessible you are now. If you are lucky enough, you don't have to just go to a manager anymore. A band will find you.
I was telling somebody about that the other day, that supposedly Slipknot were asked how Eli got the nod, and he is very good friends with the bass player V-Man, because he's Portuguese.
Yes.
So I'm sure the two of them get on.
The Brazilian, yeah.
And it's like the girl that's playing bass with Bruce Dickinson now. She was with Whitesnake.
Yes, Tanya Callahan. Yeah.
You know, like a lot of it is, I know Luke and I know you and you're going to come in. But then a lot of it is like
content.
You're trying to find something. You see something and you go, wow, that guy is really good. Like Phil Collins' son now. Nick playing with The Effect.
Yes.
You know, they're coming to Germany as well, and I want to go to see them. Now I think
he's an incredible drummer.
Yeah, he's an incredible drummer, but I don't think he'll stay in that band. I think he'll move on. It's you know, he was in Mike and the Mechanics as well, and I knew he wasn't going to stay there. You know, but he will move on. But it's just great to see it. You know, that they are watching.
Well, no more than myself, I had got the nod for the Savage Hearts through the videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes you feel like you're throwing shit at a wall, or you really have this love-hate sort of relationship with it, but it is very much a necessary part of the game these days.
It is now. It's
like a digital CV.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the frequency that you post at lets people know that you're still doing it. You know, exactly. It's not twice a year or once.
And then when they see, you know, maybe you hear mixing your own, like you have a hell of a setup here and you're mixing your own, they kind of go, well, that guy, we can put a computer beside him, he can work with click tracks, he can work with sounds. You know, a drummer is very important. Like now you're not just drumming anymore.
Yes.
You're running tracks, you're running, you know, sequences, especially if, you know, you can't afford to pay somebody to do it. You can say to drummer, I'm going to take control.
There's a lot of drummers MD in now.
Yeah. Like it's...
A lot of guys that end up coming from Ireland or going to London, or you know, they'll end up double jobbing. So there'll be the MD and they're all doing Pro Tools and they're making sure that the whole show is running on the dime.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's mad.
You on the computer. You're a good man on the computer.
I don't know.
The computer,
Windows 98 XP was the last
the Yamaha DX7 keyboard.
You're working with Johnny Brady then as well, obviously, with the Take It to the Limit, but then with your own stuff as well, you worked.
Yeah, well, myself and Johnny, like we got to Take It to the Limit thing together back in 2018. It was just purely one night, and then it ended up being like, will we do another show? And our manager Tom Sheeran at the time says, yeah, well, let's try and put it together. And I just hit off with Johnny straight away. I hit off with Simon as well, the other singer. The whole thing is very easy and very relaxed, but Johnny has a lot in common with me. The two of us got kicked in the teeth lots of times with different like the competitions on The Voice. And
is Johnny a metalhead?
Johnny would be, he would have sang in a lot of heavy rock bands back in the day, and he would have done lots of different shows. You know, you never would have known him as Johnny Brady. He's a tremendous scream on him, a great voice.
Someone told me recently.
But he's just one of them guys that should have, could have, you know, and we're at that age now where we're not taking bullshit anymore. We just want to just play music, and like that's all we ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, I never wanted to be a superstar, but you want to.
Yeah.
You know,
and said something lovely earlier about wanting to entertain people.
Yeah,
you know, that's really what you done Friday night when we were in the spirit. So
that's it. You're trying to make a connection with somebody, like you know, and Johnny was that guy, and when we used to go to do the sound checks, we Take It to the Limit. We do the sound check, and it was only 2 songs. We have an unbelievable band. Unbelievable sound man. So it was 2 songs, and then you're sitting around for 2 hours going, what the fuck do we do now? Eat sandwiches all day or chicken nuggets. And Johnny brought the guitar in, and I said, Johnny, great song for the crack, will And he said, yeah. So he started going, doom, doom, bum. And it was like, sail on by. I was thinking of the Van Morrison song that, you know, the one that David Gray recorded, you know, Into the Mystic.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking of that.
Favourite songs.
Yeah. And I was like, sitting on by looking for a brand new day, and he went like thinking about the things I need, and I was like, well, we've 2 lines there, so we keep going, and the boys were coming in, and they were like, what are you doing, lads? We're writing a song. Oh yeah, right. Here's a line, and we were like, no, fuck off, you're not getting any royalties from this. Yeah. But by the time the show started, we had the song finished.
No way.
And like not like
Yeah.
You know,
but you had
recorder.
90%.
90%, and I went back to Germany, and then Johnny would be sending me WhatsApp, and he was like, "Hey, dude, listen to this." I was, he's mad. He's just some voice, and he just gives it 100%, even when he's in the kitchen. And I was like, "Jeez, that's great." So the next time I said to Johnny, "Do you know what I'll do? I'm going to be back in Ireland next week, and what I'll do is, because I wanted it that like the real kind of East Coast sound. I wanted double harmonies, like Crosby, Stills, Nash, that kind of style, 12-string acoustic guitar,
Nice.
but the harmony the whole way through the song. So I was on the harmony and he's doing the lead. And so we did a thing that you would never do. Johnny had the vocal recorded on the phone. I went down to Martin Quinn. We took Johnny's vocal off the phone, put it into the guide. We brought Jimmy Brendan in, Brendan and Martin. I don't think Chris was on that session. And I basically sang the harmony line to Johnny's demo vocal from the phone, which is ludicrous. You'd never do this.
Unheard of, yeah.
Because I hadn't time to come back home again. So then when Martin had to get Johnny back in to do his vocal, Johnny had to sing exactly everything to suit me because the harmony was done. But it worked out great. It worked out great, and we released the song, and it was released with a German record label actually, and it got really, really good. Now it's starting to get a bit of legs again on the internet radio, but you know, it's
video and all, isn't it? He's made
yeah,
a
we
video.
did. Johnny. So I called Johnny. Johnny's a no bullshit guy. Like if he tells you he's going to do something, he'll do it. And I ring Johnny and I go, "Geez, Johnny, in June we always get really good summers in Germany, like where I'm living." And I said, we could do a really good summer video if you want to come over. Yeah. And this is no joke. I kid you not. Within 20 minutes, he has flight booked. Picked him up on the Wednesday. On the Thursday morning, we got a Mustang from a friend of mine. Drove around all the area where I live. We recorded the song, and I brought Johnny back to the airport on the Thursday morning. And the Wednesday was kind of dull when I picked him up. The Thursday was beautiful day because I wanted to do a shot where he's coming out of the lake.
Yeah.
That was done at 9 o'clock in the morning.
And what did you record it on?
We had the video.
Yeah.
Well, we had a guy that came in to do it.
Proper job, like. Yeah.
And then where I'm living, we have a local stunt rider who's a Red Bull champion, the world champion for motorcycles and everything. So Luke Ackerman is his name, and I just Luke, would it be possible that you might be around just to do a few stunts for us? And he says, yeah, I'll do it. So when we went down first of all to Luke's, it was very windy, and he says he looked at the trees and he says, just looking a bit, and he says, I'll give it a go. And I was like, jeez man,
don't kill yourself.
Fucking hell, this guy's after jumping in America and everything, he's huge, I don't want you to kill him on a shitty old video for us. And he said, no, I'll give it a go. And we recorded the video, and like I said, it turned out great. And
it's a great video.
It's one of them that we can just show every, summertime, and it's driving along in a Mustang
by the lake and all that. Yeah,
and I've been Can of Guinness, and it's
class. It's a good song.
It's a great song. And we're not precious. Me and Johnny are not precious at all. Like we're at the stage where we go, if there's somebody there that wants to record, like Johnny is actually recording a song that I wrote. I wrote it back in Genie Mac. It was probably 2009, 2011 maybe, and it was a song I wrote called Down by the Mountain. Now I did a completely different version of it, but when Johnny heard it, he was like, "Oh, geez, that's a great song." He says, "I want to record it." So he's actually recording now. So it could work for me now later on, So that's the thing. Songs are never dead.
Never dead at all. Somebody had spoke to me about that the other day, that he'd been writing songs maybe 30 odd years, and he'd said, they are shite. I said to some lad, they are shite, and the other lad says to him, well, at least it's your pile of shite. If anything, and it could work for someone else, and they weren't. No way. In any way.
We might hear Johnny sing that, isn't he, in Carrick?
Friday night.
Oh, we're
Friday night for the festival.
Well, say hello to him, because just tell him who you are, because he's an absolute gentleman.
Yeah, cool.
Great guy.
You have to approach Johnny.
Yeah, and loves his rock music. Loves his rock music.
Someone told me that. That's what I said. Remember, I said to you on the podcast. I said,
somebody had said that
Johnny was a big rocker. He liked his stuff back in the day. But your album then. That single was on that album, is that right?
Yeah, that single was on that album, and you see the Noah Kahn song is out. you know, the one that's doing the rounds,
Stick
they're not the
season.
most stick season. And when Johnny heard it, my song, he was like, fuck, he says, that's like stick season. And I says, I know, and I wrote it back in 2009.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to do a version of that. He says, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I said, now, I had already a demo of it recorded. Nathan Carter's brother recorded it, Jake.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And Jake recorded it and just never released it. So it was there, and I played him basically Jake's version, and I said, here, have a listen to that, Johnny. And he was like, wow, that's... Now, when I recorded it, I basically did a Jordan Ayres Elvis Presley version. I did all the harmonies myself, and I did it without any music instrument. So I basically did a Flying Pickets on it. I don't know whether you remember the Flying Pickets, but so I was like boom, boom, boom. So I was doing the bass and I was doing the drums and I was doing all the harmonies. So it was barbershop style.
Okay.
Real 1950s.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. So, and it worked for me. Like it got RT playlisted back when I released it at the time. I was very lucky with the song. You know, it got some great airplay, and but then it was just kind of dead in the water. Now Johnny's going to maybe revive it again in that scene. You know.
And then you have you have your own single then releasing shortly after.
Yeah,
that
I have another song coming out now called Life to Begin, and it's basically a song that I wrote after the lifts on the coronavirus, and it was basically all us human beings going back into this world, you know, kind of like, are we allowed to kind of walk on the street?
Don't come too close to me.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to do.
So the opening line like is
So close
like
to
like
me.
bright lights, bleak streets, because like, you know, can I remember, you know, walking even into Frankfurt airport when I was flying back home to the weddings, because everything was so different at the time. And I remember being on airplanes with nobody on them, like maybe 2 people, you know, and even though there was
Strange, yeah.
Germany was closed then, and then Ireland was open, so I was able to go back to do some weddings in Ireland, and then Ireland closed again, and I was back to Germany, and it was little things were happening, but it was, so I started writing a lot of songs at that time, and believe it or not, I wrote a full album which we haven't even released yet with Brendan, and the songs are completely finished, and it's all about that time
period.
No way.
Yeah.
That'll be incredible.
Yeah,
to
yes,
listen
and
to. Looking
Go
forward
check
to
this
that.
stuff
Yeah.
out, guys, and it's available on everything, isn't it? That album?
my music's on everything as well, too.
Everything.
Yeah,
Check it out, because
everything.
this man is a talent worth that it doesn't come round too often, let me tell you.
I don't know about that.
Let me think. What will we do? Will we go into? I know you're strapped.
Question time.
Yeah, we'll
Question time.
Yeah,
Because
maybe another time we'll get you on and we'll chat
definitely
about.
have to get you back. Maybe we could do a collab with Johnny.
Maybe
Could have the two boys on.
beyond the music, and I'd love to talk about that other stuff. But
Yeah.
we'll ask a few questions. I think we might have answered a lot of these. The first and last album that you bought.
Oh, jeez, that's a good one, alright, yeah. The first album I ever bought was Brothers in Arms, Dire Straits, out with me confirmation money.
Nice.
And I bought it twice because I lost the cassette tape, and I had to buy it again. And I still have it, it's out with my car. I'll show it to you. And the last album I probably would have bought would have been probably a Dave Matthews album. A double live album.
Were you a fan of Dave Matthews?
I got into Dave Matthews when I was in America. I remember being in Ann Arbor outside Michigan.
Big college town.
Yeah, and I remember this guy singing Crash, and I was looking at all the chicks absolutely loving this song and loving this guy, and I was like, fuck, I need
Women
to
are
learn that
mad
song.
into it.
Yeah, and I was like, that guy's voice is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then seeing the drummer, and I was like, here, come here.
It's class, isn't he?
Yeah,
Cara
so
Beaufort.
California.
Yeah.
that would have been probably the
Something
last album. It was a double live album.
Because when I sprung that song on you from my own,
I knew it anyway.
You knew it,
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I was afraid. I was like, he's not gonna know Dave Matthews Band. But yeah,
Yeah.
I seen them a couple of times. I think I seen them. I said this recently. The E Street Band used to tour with them.
I'm not sure.
I think they did. I
couldn't
know they,
Look
Tom
that
Morello
up,
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Morello did,
Right.
100%. And I seen them in City Field in New York.
He was in Dublin there just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I
pretty much.
didn't get to it.
Yeah, he's coming to Holland as well, because me and Johnny Brady were on about
No
trying to go to
way.
Holland.
Great live show.
Yeah.
Great live show. But funny you're on about when you heard Crash. I had a similar experience in New Jersey, where I lived for a while. It was this local Irish pub, and it was an old school jukebox, you know, with the
Yeah.
CDs. and one of the guys kept playing Satellite.
Right.
And I'm just sitting drinking my pint, and zoning out, going, "What the hell is this song? This is catching me here."
Yeah.
Oh, fucking brilliant band!
Yeah.
Brilliant band.
Yeah, he's some connection. He's South African, isn't
Virginia. No, he's American. I think he's from Virginia. He's a real country boy, like.
he? Yeah, but I thought his origins are South African.
Could be.
I could have swore the war now, but
I never went down the rabbit hole now of research. I went to him a couple of times. I went to him 2 nights in a row up in Connecticut. I'll never forget the concert. It was great. But first and last concert you attended?
First concert was Queen in Slane.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
And did you say the last concert?
The last one.
The last one I would have been at there just recently was Cardinal Black. They're a band from Wales. One of the best guitar players at the moment is a young guy called Chris Buck. Now he mightn't be up to heavy metal standards, but he's been recognised by them all now, and they're a band from Wales. The lead singer looks like Big Ander. They're very good, kind of blues rock.
Okay.
And they were playing in a beautiful venue in Erfurt, which is close to where I'm living in Germany, and there was only about 80 people at them.
Nice.
And they were brilliant.
Nice.
Absolutely brilliant.
Nice.
And they're doing the rhyming, and they're doing massive gigs in America. So for me to see them in this
small arena, yeah.
small venue was great. And this guy is Chris Buck. Check him out. He's unbelievable. He plays like Knopfler. He's playing with the
thumb
yeah.
and
fingers, and he's
gotta check him out.
He's endorsed with Yamaha guitar that's like a Les Paul kind of PRS.
Okay.
Lovely. He's a lovely player. Lovely player. I hate to say it, but I just can't see him staying with the band. I think there's there'll probably be bigger things on the horizon for him.
Yeah.
He'll get poached by someone
I
to
think
be
so.
a session player, or
I think so, because I think
especially he's been endorsed and stuff. He's got
he's been endorsed
and stuff.
He's
can you name a book, a film, and an album that you think everyone should listen to?
A book,
or read,
or separate, or all one?
All in one. Read,
all
watch,
in one.
and listen.
A book and a film. Well, probably Almost Famous, the film. Yeah, that was great. Or Star Is Born as well.
Yeah.
Like it has the highs and lows.
Yeah.
As well. Book. Definitely Dave Grohl or Bruce Dickinson just finished this one as well. Dickinson, I love Dickinson. And what was the other one?
An album.
An album. Definitely. Just Stormfront Billy Joel for me was my first CD I ever bought.
Brilliant.
What's your go-to fast food?
Go-to fast food is Thai food. Pad Thai. Thailand.
Yeah.
You talked about Thailand. I was in Thailand myself, and I swear to God, the locals, the pad thai.
Pad Thai.
With the big egg on top.
I like the one when it's shoved into it like an omelette type thing. I never got that here now.
Savage,
But I'm mad into me Thai food. Now, living in Germany, I don't get Romarios or Macaris very often, so when I came home here the other night, Saturday night, was me onion rings, bag of chips and southern fried chicken, but that's it. It's done now. I did it.
Yeah, you did it. That's it.
But you don't get that in Germany where I'm living. You don't get that.
You don't get it anywhere. There's nothing beats home.
No.
How Mario's when we're coming home from a gig.
Yeah, we used to do that.
Yeah, that's the tradition.
Best pint of Guinness. Where to go?
Best pint of Guinness. Jesus. Well, Ireland obviously, but probably. Well, I had a lovely one on Saturday night in Nana Moon's in Boy when I was waiting for my fast food to be ready.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, but she look, it's, you know.
Can you give us one thing that's on your bucket list?
On my bucket list, one thing: meet Bruce Springsteen.
Nice.
Don't think it'll ever happen though.
Where's your bucket list venue, Nigel? Where would you
bucket
love
list
to
venue?
play?
Love to play.
You've done a lot.
You've played some fabulous ones as it is.
Yeah, I always used to say I'd be happy if I got to play in the Point, and I did the Tree Arena with Daniel, but it wasn't the old Point. But that's where I seen most of my heroes, and I got to play there. I got to do the Ryman. I got to do Carnegie Hall, State Theatre in Sydney, like
Wembley,
Royal Albert Hall.
Royal Albert Hall. I actually, I don't know.
think he's done a lot.
I don't think so. Maybe the what's the one in Hollywood, the bowl?
Red Rocks.
Yeah, I'd love to do. Where's the one that all the bands used to play in years ago in America? Elton John and everybody started, and I'd love to even go there.
The Troubadour in
Troubadour
LA.
or something.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere
Something like that.
I think the bigger the venue, like I've done big venues where you don't see people's faces.
Yeah, a lot of interviews you see with big bands, they more enjoy the sweat and the
You do, you know,
small clubs and that. You know.
like the Spirit Store in Dundalk has a magic about it. You know, when it's a nervous magic too, because
you can nearly talk to someone from the stage.
Exactly, and you're on that stage. I tell you, it's easier. Like we did the Rockathon on Saturday, and it was 1,200 people at. That was easier for me than say the Spirit Store.
Because you were kind of protected and just not as.
Yeah, when you're walking on and people are standing and they're already up, and with Spirit Store you kind of thinking, I have to try and get these up off their seats.
Get them up, yeah.
That's my mentality all the time.
Yes.
I want to try and make people happy, you know. And then some people are like, I know if I go to a gig, I just want to sit down and enjoy it. So
yeah.
You know, not always
just
dancing
watch
and
it,
jumping around the place.
Is there a lyric from any song that really resonated with you from the moment you heard it?
That's a tough one. I suppose Love Walked In, Thunder. That was one of the songs that I never knew until the boys introduced it to me, and then, you know, it was one of them songs. I sang Black there with Luke, and it's another song that I close my eyes and there's a lot of things in there that has happened to me. You know, when you're singing them lines, why?
Yeah.
You know, you know, there's a lot of demons there where you kind of go.
Yeah.
Plays on the heartstrings.
Yeah. You know, it's probably if it was to pick, it's not just because I'm in a Pearl Jam. It's probably Black. Yeah. It's one of them songs that you just can sing, and no matter where you are, you'll always connect with a past girlfriend or
something. Every song means something different.
Episode.
Like I said to Luke when we were reviewing the 10 album release, the song's probably not even about that, but I found it about my stepfather that passed away, and some of the lyrics in it, like, you know, looking up to the sky, you know, I couldn't remember the lyrics even when we talked about it the other night, but really resonated with me, and that song's probably not even about that.
I wake up in the dark for you to speak to me, you know. It's
looking down on me, and I was like, wow, I never really. And I think it's an age thing as well. Like as I said to you, Luke, like when I was younger, when I used to listen to Even Flow and this and that, I didn't even realise what the song. I was listening to the songs, I wasn't listening, you know. And I think that's what an age. With me, it was anyway. And then when we really went in depth with that album,
you were starting to read the lyrics and bits and pieces.
Fuck, like I can that. Ooh, shit. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Even like Deep it's a pretty dark song.
Yeah. There's a lot of dark shit in that album.
Yeah, like we used to sing Deep now, and we used to do the full 10 album back. When it was the anniversary there, and fucking hell, like Deep was one of them songs. You know, and it's kind of the same with Exit. With on the Joshua Tree, Exit is a tough song as well by Serial Killer. You know, like
Jeremy.
Yeah, you're in these songs, but I don't think there's anyone writing fucking songs like that anymore.
No,
I don't want to sound like my father. Oh, you know,
back in my day,
everything is just so.
That lad's no good.
It's so right now. You have to be so right and can't offend anybody. You don't do that.
PG.
Yeah.
You get cancelled.
You know,
I'd say that.
You're all just playing to the.
Like I was watching David Williams there yesterday, who's been interviewed, and you know, they asked him a very good question. It must be very hard to write comedy now. With the world that we're living in now.
But then you look at some comedians.
No, it is good. I was actually saying to my mother this morning, I said we would be in a perfect time for Rage Against the Machine to start writing music again.
In America,
they probably will.
Yeah, but even worldwide.
Even Creed is making a comeback.
Yeah.
God, I've seen him there recently, and
that's like Kendall.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's just great to
that
see.
Super Bowl show Creed though was class.
I don't even want to know.
That was actually Thanksgiving game.
Was that the Thanksgiving game? I thought it was
Dallas,
Super Bowl.
Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving game.
He completely ripped off Ed, I don't like, but anyway. My last question anyway, Nigel, is a hypothetical question, right? If the opportunity somehow happened and you had the choice to play for one night only, who would it be? Pearl Jam, the Eagles, or
But what, as a drummer?
As whatever you want, but you could only choose one, and obviously then bands, because
So what's the bands?
U2 because
Yeah.
you're doing the Beyond the Music,
Yeah.
Joshua, Pearl Jam because of Light Years, and the Eagles.
Well, I know I'd be able to drum U2, and I'd definitely be able to drum Eagles. I wouldn't be able to drum the Pearl Jam stuff.
Right. What about singing?
I'd give it a go, yeah.
But who are you going for? You can only pick one.
Probably U2.
U2. All right.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, because 1987 was my first introduction to U2 with the Joshua 3, and that was, yeah.
The
I
left.
just love Bono's voice. I love his voice,
Yeah.
you know.
Luke, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I was going to say, we like to ask one for all our guests. If you had the power to put a super group together, 4 or 5 musicians, living or dead, what would the
Okay.
lineup be?
Right, definitely. Like the Travelling Wilburys type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I would love to see Phil Collins on the drums again, which is probably never going to happen. The way God help him, the way he is at the moment. So I'd have Phil on drums, bass Pino Palladino,
oh yes.
guitar. I don't know, Gary Moore, I suppose, but it's different. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the style of the music. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one because I'm trying to think of the band as
As
a
a
style.
whole, yeah.
But I absolutely love Jim Morrison as well. But like I went to see Ian Astley from the Cult doing the Jim Morrison thing, and I thought it was amazing as well.
Wow.
But I'd love Morrison to be the front man, I think. Keyboards, I don't know. Is there any good keyboard players out there? I'm not sure, is there? I know.
Chris
yeah.
Carney.
I don't know. It's that's a tough question.
It is a tough
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I suppose all my heroes are there anyway. Definitely Bruce Springsteen. I was very lucky to even get to see Prince live. You know, I got to see him live in
Did you?
Toronto, and he was an absolute master as well.
He was some guitar player.
Unbelievable.
He comes out like that question that we ask our guests. Like Prince comes up nearly
Yeah.
all the time.
all the
He's
time.
one of these guys that I didn't get when I was growing up, but I do get now.
I'm similar myself.
And I didn't get the Beatles growing up.
I still haven't got the Beatles.
You know, I have them now.
Mm.
You know, same with Led Zeppelin. Bonham would have passed. I never would have been
A big Bonham fan.
I wouldn't even say the Bonham fan. It just never.
Wasn't on your radar.
Zeppelin never was in my.
That's what I'm really starting to dig into
Yeah.
now, or see that some
I can
of my
see that with the bass drums.
Yeah, some of my favourite drummers. I'm actually glad that you say that because I had tuned it up that wee bit higher.
Yeah.
And hit it, and I was like, that's
So I'm waiting for a bit of Moby Dick here now.
that's Bonhamy, yeah.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong, but like same, I love Dave Grohl. Dave
Yes.
Grohl as a drummer. But now, say Matt Cameron when he was at Soundgarden, unbelievable. But I never really rated him great with Pearl Jam until this new album.
Okay.
And listening to some of the stuff he's doing in this new album, and I'm like, holy
He's
fuck!
a brilliant drummer.
He is drumming unbelievable.
Mm.
Like,
He was with Soundgarden for a while too, wasn't he?
yeah. But there's just like there's some of the songs on it. Like there's a song called "Waiting for Stevie," and the intro even it's like it's just it's class. It's absolutely class. So I'm going to see them in Berlin now with Chris in July, and I just cannot wait to see.
And Robbie was telling me he's going.
Is he going? Is he? All right, lovely, nice one. Yeah. So that's I don't know.
Right.
That'd be. I'd love 2 drummers as well. So I'll go with Phil Collins and Dave Grohl. See how does that match?
Oh man, that'd be some powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I love Dave's drumming on the Queens of Stone Age album.
Yes,
And Joe Bonamassa as well.
yes, that would be good.
Yeah.
That'd be something else.
You know.
Nigel,
Yeah.
I think we could talk for about a week here.
We
Yeah,
definitely have to have you back.
I'd love it. Yeah, no
Yeah,
worries at all.
no, we really appreciate you coming in tonight.
Do you do mobile That Sound music
yeah,
podcast?
we can do
Yeah.
online. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely maybe season 2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe-
hopefully
We
maybe
have to go on our travels.
Maybe that's the one I was
Head
thinking.
for
You
Germany.
go on the travels and you get Johnny or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Definitely. We'll work something. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and
Thanks very much.
the best of luck in all your stuff. And go check this man out, because
Nigel, where can people find you on social
Yeah.
media?
Tinder, I don't know.
OnlyFans.
Nigel Connell Music on Facebook and Nigel Connell Music on Instagram and then Spotify and Amazon, and my website's www.nigelconnell.com.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Nice.
but social media is is definitely the way to go, and I will answer the messages. It is me, it's not just somebody else. I try to always answer everybody, and
Yeah, fair play to you.
it's a nice way to be, and it's
Doing
good.
the honest thing.
It's good.
good.
It's good. It's good.
Well, we'll hopefully get you on again at some stage.
Please, God.
Either here or maybe online or something.
Maybe that's what I'm saying.
Maybe in Germany.
Yeah.
Maybe in Germany. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
It's easy. Just bring the laptop and the 2 mics.
that's
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
And a keg of beer.
Oh,
Maybe
now
we'll
we're
go to your
talking.
neighbour we were talking about.
That's it. I'm telling you.
Up to
No
madness.
problem. No problem. Yeah. Or a beer or 2.
Yes. All right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
That is all for this week's episode on That Sound podcast. Gavin, what did you think of that?
That was yeah, I didn't want to stop. I could have talked here for another 2 hours. I don't know about you listening to it. Did you want more? I definitely wanted more. But yeah, what stories, like, he's toured the world playing what he loves. He loves his country music. Daniel O'Donnell, straight.
6 years with Daniel, yeah.
Yeah, like constantly learning. That story about going over on the boat to England.
That's unreal that you got your free travel
Yeah.
for playing on the boat.
Mad. And just, great stories. Getting an insight into his time with on the Voice, and how it was a learning curve, and all the different steps and all the different art. Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Unreal. Linda Martin.
Yeah.
Talking with Louis Walsh.
Yeah. And he's a gentleman, and we got to do that song then as well. Or you got to do that song, I should say. And I was recording it, and the hairs were standing on the back of my neck recording.
That was fun.
That was brilliant.
Who'd like to see some more people do That Sound shed sessions?
Yeah, definitely. It was great crack. But, he's definitely gifted, and
He's an absolute gentleman on top of all of that.
we didn't even get to talk to some of the stuff. I definitely think we should get him back.
I definitely think that
We
we're
didn't
going to
even get
have
into
him back.
the Eagles stuff,
nothing at all.
We'll definitely get him back, because he's one, a gentleman, and 2, he's exactly what we want to talk to.
Exactly.
And we hope he's enjoyed it. Again, if you enjoyed the episode, if you can like it, share it, tell a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, we also have some albums of the week that we do that are available on all Acast, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and Google, all that good stuff. Send us a comment who you want to see us on, what you want to see us review.
What album you'd like to see us do. Give us a shout, give us a message, just interact.
Yeah.
We also have some hoodies and t-shirts available for season 2 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
We have some nice merch. We have any size that you wish.
Yeah, get
Any
in
colour
touch.
that you wish, black or white.
It's a good way to help the podcast. And if you're enjoying the podcast, keep listening, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep firing it out.
Thank you for all your support. Keep rocking on, and we'll chat to you next week.
See you soon.